Well, hello and welcome to week 91. I'm here with Corne. How are you doing? How are you doing, Corne?
Oh, sorry, my microphone was still muted. I'm doing fine, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing better now that you can actually hear me and talk back.
Well, I could hear you already, but the talking back part, indeed, is
Yeah, a little bit dodgy, a
not
little bit dodgy.
insignificant.
Yeah, we are on week 91's update. Looking forward to it tons and tons. This week we are all about performance and wind power.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Alrighty. So Icarus week 91 update, fixes for hitching, stutters and new wind turbines. We've got a big new performance update full of fixes for hitching and stutters this week, along with the new wind power. Absolutely fantastic. Take us away if you would, please.
Yeah, so this week's update, we release the work we have been doing towards performance improvements. We've been working on those improvements for some time, and they represent a major change in how a number of assets and parts of the map are loaded. Most specifically, these are targeted to address hitching and stutters caused by level streaming and asset loading when moving across the map. But in many cases, they also give modest general FPS improvements as well. Yeah, we have seen those hitches and stutters whilst traveling,
Yeah, a little
like
bit.
especially when hosting. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm glad they are coming up with fixes for that.
Yep.
So we've done a big write-up to explain the changes made and the logic for it as well, to give you an idea of the background work that's going into improving the experience for all players as we add more content to the game in the future. Hey Wi-Fi, welcome.
Hey, Ri-Fi, it's been a minute. How are you doing, bud? Welcome, welcome. You get tonight's weekly update first medal. Well done.
So this week also brings the long-awaited wind power system, with new wind turbines giving you a third sustainable power source. And also a sneak peek at our next improvement to the electricity system, batteries!
What? You've been waiting for so long?
Oh yeah. And we've also got an update on Hypatia, our new big free update, and even a look at what's coming next week to Icarus. So also sneak peek into next week's update.
Ooh.
So let us jump in and let's have a read, shall we?
Alrighty. Well, I would hazard a guess that that would be two people in the possibly lava biome, maybe?
From the looks of it, lava biome indeed. One with a sledgehammer, by the way, the one on the right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's see, some important fixes. Interesting that they listed here and not all the way at the bottom in fixes, but okay. There's some
Yeah.
fixes to outposts, so now they all spawn creatures as intended. This will be. This is, by the way, also this bullet points also down in the fixes, and they will give you a bit more info about this one.
Yeah.
Fixes to voxel mining audio, which was causing a machine gun-like sound effect that would not stop. I've seen people in Discord about this indeed. And again, using the info down below, if you have like a pickaxe which does multiple actions, the obsidian pickaxe, then it could be that the last hit to a voxel is basically a last hit, continuously.
Yeah.
And then you had to like restart the game in order to get rid of it, or to the character select and back
Wow.
in order to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So they fixed that.
Good.
Fixed for deployable destructible not being cleaned up unless the host or the server restarted. This is if
Yeah,
you
we've had that.
abandon no, this is if you abandon an operation. You restart the operation, like buildings would duplicate in the same spot. It was a way to, like the mission we finished yesterday, where we had this one single bed.
Hmm.
Well, if you started operation from your open world and you abandon it and start it again and abandon it and start it again, you have like 3 beds.
Oh, okay.
Now they fix it, it properly cleans up the stuff, which is good.
Good.
Because it was an exploit, so.
Yeah.
Fix an issue where weather effects were played inside caves. Weather effects being played, I reckon you see the rain even though you're in a cave.
Or the hail.
Yeah. Fix issue where the weather effects would appear incorrectly when mounted. Yeah, we never run into this one, I think, because we hardly use mounts.
This is true.
Fix issues where the ice borers could not be snapped and deployed. This is Prometheus, obviously. Something we haven't done yet, but I've seen this being mentioned in Discord indeed.
Yeah.
People were trying to place the ice borers, but there was no snap point. Glad I fixed that.
Yeah, we've had other things not snapping properly, haven't we?
No, not really.
I thought we had an issue somewhere where the deep drills wouldn't snap.
One time, and it snapped for the host, not for the client. So I picked up the drill and you put it there, and I put it in the other slot.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same issue as which we had here. Being it drill versus ice borer, actually extractor versus ice borer, and also the fact that the host could still place.
Yeah.
And after I
Yeah,
picked
but
it back up, you could
that's
place it. So it was a whole different issue.
yeah, but like I'm saying, it's as close as we've ever got to anything like that.
Yeah, but whole a whole different issue.
Yeah, not close enough.
Yeah. Fix an issue where minerals and ores would sometimes refer to unminable grey chunks. I've seen the pictures in Discord. Indeed, and then you had to like restart a client, or if you play on a dedicated server, you sometimes even had to restart a dedicated server in order to make minerals, voxels, and boulders mineable again.
Okay.
So annoying, but yeah, I'm glad I fixed it.
Okay.
Frozen ore is now skill based on ore gained and not a chance per hit, providing more overall frozen ore, which then have to be thought out in a campfire or other heat source.
Mhm. Okay.
Not sure we have encountered frozen ore yet. It might be that this one that you only get it when doing the whole mining with a cold steel pickaxe. I don't know.
Mhm. Could be.
Fix issues on Prometheus where unstuck option would place players outside of the map bounds. Yeah, I've seen this in Discord again. Screenshot of people dying outside bounds, cause unstuck put them outside the
Oh,
bounds.
nuts. Oh, that
Yeah,
would
I know.
suck so bad.
They had the same issue on Prometheus on Olympus as well at some point. I
Yeah.
remember that. But I'm glad I fixed it.
Okay. Cool.
And fix an issue where you couldn't upgrade buildings to Scoria Brick. I actually ran into this in my open world. Some base pieces I could actually upgrade from stone to Scoria Brick. Some pieces I could not.
Right.
So I'm glad they fixed that.
Yeah. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, because now I had to. Like, it was with. I noticed it with the normal walls, like the door frames and windows frames were fine, but normal walls, I had to tear it down and then put a Scoria brick in place. I couldn't update it to Scoria brick.
Yeah, you actually had to physically take it down and replace it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're going into the whole performance improvement stuff.
Yeah.
So this week's update has a number of performance improvements that we've been testing out in the experimental build for the past few days. These improvements are focused around reducing stutters and hitches caused by level streaming. Level streaming being when a map tile is loaded into the world as you move into that area. So basically the loading and unloading of map tiles.
Mm-hmm.
The key areas here include improved load times for a number of in-game objects such as voxels, uh, changing the nav mesh loading to a background thread. All those items are going to be explained below a bit, so no worries.
Okay.
Changing the garbage collector to only run whenever imported map tiles are streamed in or out. So there's a couple of core concepts that are tricky to understand for non-technical people, which are important to get a full picture of our improvements this week. A very core component being threading. Threads basically are pieces of work that are split up and run on different cores in your CPU at the same time. Think of this like queues at a bank, right? A single threaded game would be like having a single queue for a single bank teller representing the CPU core. In this scenario, only one customer can be served at a time. In the analogy, in the real world, only one piece of work can be completed in-game on the CPU. And obviously, a game is running a lot of instructions, a lot of operations in the background. Now, if everything has to be handled by a single thread, they all queue, and
You get the
yeah,
bottleneck.
it's slowing down the game.
Yeah.
So multi-threading, on the other hand, would be like having multiple tellers and multiple queues, allowing for you to get through all of the people in the queue faster. Parallel processing instead of serial processing. Obviously, way faster.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple operations being performed at the same time.
Yeah.
So, in theory, this means everything would run faster and smoother as the CPU cores could process more work faster and more efficiently. But yeah, reality kicks in. And in reality, there's a problem on the other side of the bank counter. In order for a teller to process the customer's jobs, in order for the CPU to process the job, they have to go to the bank's one and only ledger containing all the customer's info, the memory, the RAM, in order to read and write the customer's data. In a single teller scenario, it's perfectly fine. The teller goes to the ledger, requests the info, writes the info, everything's fine. However, once there are multiple tellers trying to do this at the same time, it's going to become chaos. Multiple write operations at the same time means numbers get overwritten. Delays are going to happen, and your bank will crash with weird error messages. Uh, so you have this piece of information requested by teller A, and then teller B is like, hey, I'm going to write some info. And then teller A is going to get the wrong info because it just has been overwritten by teller B.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, chaos.
Yeah.
So what's the solution for this? Well, all the modern game engines use the single main thread, also known as the game thread, to do most of, not all, but most of the work. Obviously, this puts a lot of strain on your CPU. It's only able to use a single core for this work, resulting in your CPU utilization showing something like 18% on an octa-core machine, 8-core machine, when the game is running poorly. Some work is still done multi-threaded though, but it's a case-by-case basis, as not everything is suitable for it. So, to return to the bank analogy, imagine the single queue, right? Single teller, single queue. But this time we have a special second teller whose job it is to only process forms. So, customer who need a form processed come into the bank, joins the main queue, waits in line, eventually gets to the main teller, the game thread. So the main teller then sees, hey, this customer needs to have a form processed. So he gets the info needed from the ledger, the info needed by the form, gets it from the ledger, attaches it to the customer, and then sends the customer over to the special teller that only does the forms. So basically offloading part of the work to a second thread. There's still this one thread accessing the memory. So no chaos on the memory, no chaos in the ledger. But part of the work can be done by another queue. So the main teller then continues processing the main queue, while the other customer is now getting their form processed at the special teller, the other thread. The special teller does not need to use the ledger, does not need to access the RAM, because all of the relevant information to get that form processed already has been attached to the customer by the main ledger, the main teller, sorry. So this removes the issue from the original multi-threading scenario. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll actually see a schematic with numbers and arrows. So number one, the customer comes in, goes to the main queue, gets to the main teller. Then arrow number 2 on the right is the teller says, okay, you need to process a form. I'm going to grab the info needed, giving it back to the customer. Now I'm sending it to the special teller. And in number 3, the special teller is then processing the data, processing the form. Now, once the form has been processed, the customer, as you can see in the arrow going to bottom left, rejoins the main queue to hand the completed form back to the main teller, who then puts the results into the ledger. So all other commands are being processed faster, whilst this one process is being handled by the other thread. So all customers in line will be helped faster, because this one customer doesn't take up to that much time from the main teller. It's just being sent to the other teller. So here's a performance improvement.
Yep.
This is an example of using worker threads to offload work from the main thread. Now, obviously, if you have a high frequency CPU, so very fast cores, very fast processing cores, the game would run smoother even when it's single threaded. However, games become more and more complex nowadays, so single threaded game is gonna suffer from performance degradation a lot.
Yeah.
So they have to come up with ways to make it multi-threaded as much as they can.
Yeah.
So the main thread now has to prepare the data that the worker thread needs to do the work. And when the work is done, the main thread has to apply the results back to the game. But the whole processing is being done by a separate thread now, so offloading your main thread.
Yeah.
Now, this method is used in a few places in Icarus. Physics runs on a separate thread, as do things like voxel updates when you mine them. The important thing to know here is that threading is a tool that can solve some problems, but not all. The main thread still has to do a lot of work, is still the only one accessing the memory, so it's still gonna be a bottleneck there. But at least you're offloading some of the work to other threads.
Yeah, you're just sending different parts of the game through a flowchart, and once it's done, it goes back to the main thread.
Yeah. But it's always passes the main thread.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, another tool for performance improvement is time slicing. Time slicing is used to process a little bit of data each frame up to a certain time limit or a certain number of items. So this smooths out a big spike of work over multiple frames. It's not going to happen all in one frame, causing the next frame to wait. No, you're basically distributing the work over multiple frames, removing hitches at the cost of a slightly higher frame times while the work is going on. So yeah, the frames plural in which those operations are taking place, they will take a bit longer,
Mm-hmm.
but it's no longer that one single frame is taking up a lot of time.
Yeah.
So there will be a slight FPS drop, but it's no longer like you go down to like 2 FPS and then immediately back up to like, I don't know, 120 FPS.
Mm-hmm.
If, for example, would go down to 100 FPS for like a dozen frames or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, this definitely gonna help with the whole hitches. So this method is good for processing things that do not need the results immediately, but also aren't suitable to be threaded because they need access to the game data, they need access to the memory. So you can't multi-thread them, you can't offload it to a worker thread. So let's just time slice it, so at least it doesn't lock up a single frame.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, it can be used for some performance issues.
But not all.
Unfortunately, it cannot be used for all issues. There is no one solution fits all.
No.
Next tool, or next method, startup times. Now, when a map tile finishes streaming in, all of the objects on that tile need to start up on the same frame. Uh, little
Yeah.
bit, I'm borrowing bits of text from below, so roughly 800 to 1000 voxels per map tile. Yeah, good luck if you want to load them all up in one frame. That frame is going to take time.
Yeah, which is going to hold up
And
the next one.
there's your hitch. So Icarus has both a lot of objects on its map tiles and also some objects that take a long time to start up. Combination of these lead to significant hitches. So while there isn't a good way to reduce the number of objects on a tile, a lot of the objects now have had the startup times shortened or spread out over multiple frames. So you basically remove the hitch at the cost of multiple frames taking a bit longer time, but no longer one single frame taking a lot of time. So the major example of this, the voxels, roughly 800 to 1000 per map tile. So yeah, everything they do during the startup is magnified massively.
Yeah.
If you manage to decrease the startup time a tiny bit, 800 to 1000 tiny bits can add up to quite a bit,
Yeah.
so to
Quite
say,
a lot of
quite a lot.
bits.
Yeah. Voxels now have a lot of their setup done in the assets themselves instead of during the startup scripts. Now, loading the resource type and registering with the shelter subsystem, those functions both have been time sliced over multiple frames. Loading the voxel save data has been given a fast path that can quickly find the matching data without a slow search through all of the save data. For people who know a thing or two about databases, basically put an index on the voxel save data so you can use the index to quickly access this specific data. Hey Jake, welcome.
Hey, Jake. Welcome, welcome, buddy. How are you feeling today? Yes, we decided that we've got such a lot to do that we would start a wee bit early. I am actually on a holiday from work, so this also helps. Um, and finally, in the test scenario, these changes reduced the title startup hitch from about 100 milliseconds to 18. Um,
Tile startup.
yeah, that's a significant drop.
Yeah, quite a nice improvement, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, take us through the nav mesh loaded. This is all your stuff. I have no idea what this is talking about. So take
uh,
it away, dude.
let me put it this way: if I manage to explain it in a way you can understand, a lot of people will be able to understand as well, and then I've done my job correctly. On the
Yeah.
other hand, I have been known to be able to explain things to technical people, but not so well to non-technical people because
Depends
of
what you're trying
the
to explain, though, eh?
because of the quite quite big difference in technical knowledge.
Yeah.
Like things which I think I translated to layman's terms, quite often still people are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But I'm trying. I'm trying. So,
Alrighty.
nav mesh loading. The navigation mesh is used by the AI to know where they can and cannot go. Getting stuck by twigs or stuck behind trees or rocks
Mm-hmm.
is all nav mesh, navigation mesh issue. It needs to create paths around such objects.
Yep.
Now, Icarus being an open world game has a lot of nav mesh to cover the surface area, as well as having to update the mesh when buildings are built on top of it. Trees are cut down, rocks are mined, all those things. Now, a previous engine update now allows us to use asynchronous nav mesh loading, which is carried out on another thread, not bothering the main thread anymore. So yeah, this completely removes nav mesh loading hitches. Again, no longer a job for the main thread. This is now offloaded to a worker thread.
Yeah, it's been delegated.
Yeah.
Good. It tidies up performance. We always love that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I've seen some quite positive results about this in Discord. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Okay.
garbage collection. Now, when a map tile streams in or out, the engine forces a garbage collection. Basically, what it sounds like, clean up stuff. Garbage collection, collect all garbage to throw it out.
Yeah.
Now, this is to ensure that all unused objects get removed from the memory, and by doing so, keeping the memory usage as low as it can be. Things no longer needed, remove it from the memory so that memory can be used for tasks actually needing the memory.
Mm-hmm.
And as we all know, Icarus is quite resource hungry, so more memory is better, and memory cleanup is also better. Otherwise, your memory will run full, and then everything slows down.
Yeah.
So yeah, garbage collection is quite important here.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Now, while this is good for reducing the memory usage spikes, it also takes time to complete a collection. Uh, it has to go through data like, hey, can it be removed? Yes or no. So
Yeah.
operations there, so it does take some time.
Yeah. It has to go through a sieve.
Yeah. Now, garbage collection was happening even for distant tiles, changing their LODs, resulting in a lot more than expected. Now, we have disabled the default garbage collection during level streaming in favor of only doing them when streaming out the main level tiles. So, for certain objects, less frequent garbage collection. Yes, it means you use a bit more memory, but it also means garbage collection doesn't run as often or as deep, as thorough. So
And
it's
therefore
also
doesn't
less
have the same,
processing.
yeah,
Yeah,
less impact.
this massively reduces the amount of hitching during regular gameplay, and a very slight memory usage increase from time to time. So yeah, people who are already running low on RAM, yeah, people who have enough RAM, they're going to be like, yay! I don't care about a little bit more RAM usage as long as the game runs smoother.
Yeah. Yeah. And how we love a smooth game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
as we found
yeah,
out last night when you had to take over streaming for all of like 10, 15 minutes while I swapped some stuff over.
yep, yeah, big PC. I don't know. Anyway, let's continue to the future work. So while all these changes do have a big impact on the number of streaming hitches, there are still some remaining, such as removing objects from a tile when it streams out, and also high density foliage loading in, which gives quite some strain on both CPU and GPU, both the processor and the video card.
Yeah.
The remaining hitches are currently being worked on, and we will have a patch addressing those in the future. So more performance improvements to come, but
We
quite
look
some work
forward to
has been
that.
done already for this patch.
Yeah. And that looks awfully like the marshlands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I've
not seen
been
any
doing
blue
a lot of
slugs in there,
talking.
though.
I've been doing a lot of talking. I'm gonna give it back to you for the new content here.
Alrighty, so we have new content, wind power. Wind power is finally in Icarus. I can already hear Carne going, yay!
Exactly.
We've added the long awaited wind turbine this week, giving you another way to generate electricity to power your T3 and 4 deployables. The turbine requires a fair amount of space around the propeller, so you need these to be spread out to be activated. When placing these or hovering over them, you'll be able to see the range required to be free of any obstructions. The range required around these objects can be seen when highlighting over them. This will not be shown if the show item highlights setting is off. So you have to have your show item highlights turned on in order to be able to see it. And I would assume that it would be red when you can't place it and would turn green where you can, like the rest of the deployables.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, but being able to see, like when you try to place it on the floor, being able to see when looking at the floor whether or not you've got enough room to place it is always a good thing.
Yeah.
The wind turbine is a tier 4 item crafted at the new fabricator. Unlike solar panels, wind turbines will work around the clock and don't require cleaning such as water wheels do. This makes them the most efficient and easiest system to deploy and use, which is balanced by their lower power output and cost.
But hey, at least no periodic maintenance no more. And just find a 4x4 map grid and plonk it full with wind turbines. And then you'll have just enough to run one water pump.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, they they can't be any worse than anything that needs constant maintenance.
Exactly. Because then you're out traveling around, mining, whatever. Then you come back to your base and you find all the fishes in your aquarium being dead because the water wheels all got clogged up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
So maybe you could actually hook up your aquarium to a wind turbine, and it would just create enough to keep the fish going.
Maybe.
The only thing then
That,
is the only downside then is if there's no wind, you're still screwed.
it does say this one works around the clock.
Okay.
So I reckon there's always wind on Icarus.
Yep.
Then, which also begs a question, will it generate more electricity during a storm?
That's a good question. Okay. Well, maybe we
Well,
can.
I can already tell you it won't. I
Well,
don't think they've added that in.
no, but
Yeah,
if they do, if they do supply a low but constant amount of power, then
yeah.
Jake
Jake says
says
it's
unless the
persistent.
it
It
won't
won't turn
turn.
off until unless the blade's blocked. So yeah, make sure you don't put stuff around it after placing the wind turbines.
Yeah, well, we ain't responsible for where the hell the Kia fly, dude.
Kia will be chopped up at the blades. We want more power during storm. It requires variable rate of energy. See the
See
battery
battery
paragraph.
power. Yes. Well, I do have the
Yeah,
battery bit
we're getting
highlighted,
there.
so we're getting there. With wind turbines being our third sustainable power source added to Icarus, providing a storage source for power is something we are actively working towards. The initial implementation of resource networks didn't allow for batteries in the traditional sense. The way we develop these systems is with machines registering themselves on the network and controlling their on off state rather than it processing within the network itself. To add batteries, we'll need to modify the system to allow for them to exist and function as intended. This will allow for proper resource flow control, allowing for burnouts and variable energy flow rates, which is what you were just talking about.
Yeah, and because it isn't there yet, windmills will not yet generate different amount of power during a storm.
Correct. And if they can provide the variable rate of energy, then they should be able to charge a battery quicker in a storm. Okay,
Makes sense.
once these changes to the network have been made, the priority will be getting batteries added. So keep an eye out for these in the future, Corne.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I'll make a battery room the likes you've never seen before. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, you've got one eye sleeping and the other eye's reading the Discord channel to find out when the batteries are
Oh yeah,
coming.
oh yeah.
I know you.
No worries there.
Alrighty. Would you take us through the Hypatia so that I can go and grab a
Okay.
can of juice?
So coming soon, Hypatia update. And hey, Michael, wind power. Yeah, indeed, man.
Welcome, welcome, Michael. Good to see you. Wind power indeed.
So Hypatia. Now that New Frontiers has been released, our core development focus is shifting to the next major update, Hypatia. We have a few more bugs that have been discovered in the New Frontiers and other areas of the game that we will be working on, but the majority of the team's effort now moves towards this upcoming milestone. Because of the massive hit operations have been in New Frontiers, for those still unclear on what these are, this is the new system that allows for full missions to be triggerable from open world. And yes, I'm following several streamers who are also streaming Icarus, yeah, and all or about all are using the operations. Now, because of the massive hit, we have decided to focus our efforts fully on the open world operations in Olympus and Styx, rather than wait for the Biolab feature to be completed. Biolab still being in the early stages of development. This means that Hypatia, with the operations added to Styx and Olympus, can be brought to you sooner, and the timelines will be adjusted to incorporate the Biolab into a future update. Hey Lilith, welcome.
Hey, Lilith. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing today?
Now, at the same time, expect a regular weekly updates with bug fixes, new content, and quality of life to continue as they always have. Yeah, we expect that to happen indeed.
Yep, yep. Well, we
So yeah,
we we've
basically,
we've been doing
yeah,
the weekly update for a long time now. It would seem kind of silly to stop it now.
yeah. So basically, Biolab has been postponed in favor of bringing operations to Styx and Olympus. Hypatia will have the operations, but will not include the Biolab yet.
Hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
God forbid we decide not to do weekly updates, Jake. Yeah, man, you'll get a ton of excrement coming over you, man. Whew.
Yeah, I would say that would not be an enviable position to be in.
Exactly.
Alrighty, now next week We got a new mount. Oh, cool.
Speaking of new content, next week we'll be bringing some new friends to adventure with. New mounts are coming to Olympus, Styx, and Prometheus as a free week 92 update. New mounts plural. So Jake, I expect more than just one, huh? Just saying.
Yeah.
This one looks like
Normie horse.
Normie Horsey, which has
Normie
been
horsey.
mentioned in at least, let me see, weekly updates 77, 78.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long time away it was mentioned. I've been
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and
I believe there will be a bit more information about this new mount down below.
good. Good. I wouldn't like to tackle those teeth, that's for sure.
Eh,
Yeah.
this Normie Horsey doesn't seem to have that big of teeth.
Yeah,
That
but
big teeth.
that's not a horse that you want to rub you with its nose, that's for sure.
The one in this image. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll have my armor on anyway, so.
I'd just take it to a dentist. Okay, if you like what we're doing with Icarus and want to support our continued development, consider purchasing one of our DLCs for a few dollars. It would mean a lot to us. So there you go. You have the New Frontiers expansion set. You've got the complete set, which gives you everything, and you've got the Outposts bundle underneath it.
The complete set does include the base game, New Frontiers, Styx, the Outpost bundles, but also the decorations pack, like everything.
Yes, it's the complete bundle. Everything. So that takes us down to the changelog.
New content, basically the wind turbine.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Wind turbine. Yeah, wind turbine. First pass, yes. Wind turbine audio, yes. Okay. So now we're on to what they fixed.
The fixes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll wait till we're finished. One of the first things I read, 4 lines into the patch notes, was just a wee bit New Zealand spelling.
Yeah. Patch note I added about 10 minutes ago. The new content part, Jake? No, it was this patch note was up several hours ago already, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got this like mid-afternoon. Oh no, actually no, I got it first thing this morning. I got this update first thing this morning. So there's a patch notes to come
Yeah,
then.
but that could also mean that you woke up very late this morning, huh?
No. No, not too late. No, not really.
If I had it mid-morning and you had it first thing this morning, it means you were up. You got up quite late. Patch note: effects of equipable modifiers are now reduced when stacked. Okay, the first one gives 100% effect, the second 50%, the third 25%. So I believe we talked about this last week, or when was it? So basically, the build I did at some point where I had the survival backpack and 3 modules of reduced fall damage, with which I could basically jump from orbit and not take any fall damage at all. Because I stacked it up to 100% fall damage reduction.
Yeah. So now you're
They are
actually going to
working
die.
on, yeah, they're working on reducing reducing the stacked effects of certain modules. Indeed, I've seen that. It's actually the second one in the fixes here. Adjusted module stacking to unapply diminishing returns to specific modules. The question I had here is which modules we're talking about.
Yeah, because I would
know,
not
like
like
speed.
that effect to be diminishing my speed module
Like you have
effect,
modules for
because you
speed,
know,
you have
like you
modules for
take three,
carry, and
like, because when I'm on your open world, I actually take 3 speed modules so as I can fricking keep up with you. And if and if the effect of that is going to be reduced, then that kind of defeats the purpose.
then you definitely have to get good.
No, I'd say you need to get some different adjustments on my armor, love.
But I gave you the same attachments I have. So yeah, I think the get good part is definitely applicable here then.
Well, yes, but you know.
But yeah, anyway, so it's not sure for which modules the module stacking will give diminishing returns. I reckon it will be for resistance modules. Like you could stack up modules to get to 100% physical damage resistance, 100% cave long resistance, things like
Yeah.
that. I assume those are the modules which will get the module stacking diminished returns.
Inventory weight is the same. Mount speed resistances are diminished returns. Sorry, Echo.
Yeah,
You.
so yeah, you have to get good at Echo.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so speed, mount speed, and resistances. Oh, I had expected resistances already. I had not expected the speed and kind of the mount speed, but
Yeah, the resistances I can get, right? Because you're trying to adjust for a debuff, right?
yeah.
But to have a speed module to specifically help speed you up and then have that stackable return diminished because you've got more than one of them, that's not fair. No, don't like it.
Speed
Don't like it.
speedrun builds they will suffer. If you have your speedrun build with a 3 module suit and 3 speed modules, and there you go. The second module only will have 50% effective. The third module will only be 25% effective. That's gonna
Son of a.
heavily affect the speed builds. But hey, sneak peek by the
Carl's not going
way,
to be impressed with that.
all mounts are being increased in speed next week. And this is nice indeed, Michael.
Very
So
nice.
mounts becoming even more interesting.
Yeah.
Good.
That
Anyway,
sounds good to me.
yeah,
Alrighty.
let's get through the fixes, shall we?
Yes, please.
So fix an issue where some of the voxels were not receiving their material after they start being mined. So you could mine them, but it never gave any results. It never gave any rewards, never gave any ore. Oh, glad they fixed that.
Yeah.
Module stacking we just discussed.
Yeah.
Shifted voxel logs from error to warning. Okay. Oh, fixed Larkwell Martinez piercing bolt not colliding with enemies. So basically shoot straight through the enemy and enemy not taking any damage. Echo was very glad with this one. Animals were glad as well. I was less glad, so I'm more glad with the fix of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite often I have my arrows do that, and it's usually because I'm not aiming in the right place.
Yeah, aiming tends to have quite an effect on the hit chance, indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to be able to change the color of my crosshair.
You can put it in feature upvote.
Okay.
Anyway. Fix workshop item name New Zealand spelling. Typo.
Yeah, okay.
Not sure which workshop item, but okay.
Doesn't matter, they fixed it.
Well, they changed it from New Zealand spelling to English spelling. Okay.
Okay.
Or at least English US probably.
Alrighty. Celebrity chef fixed mission pod not being cleaned up on mission abandon. So in other words, it would stay there.
Yeah.
It's the only thing it stays there, but hey ho. Reduce the cost and output of the wind turbine. This allows the device to be a lower entry cost to power, while massive power output is better suited to other devices. Or careful base design. Yeah.
So reduce the cost of the wind turbine. Good. Allows it to be lower entry cost to power. Good. While massive power output is better suited to other devices, or careful base design. Again, you need a certain amount of free space around your wind turbine in order for it to function, to be able to function. So yeah.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
So basically, plonk the entire roof of your base full with wind turbines. But keep an eye on your spacing, so you're gonna need a massive base. Or just place them all out in the field. Whatever. We'll find a way.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
we will.
We'll find a way to power our base.
Okay, yeah. Added icon and tooltip text to let player know if modules are affected by diminishing stat values when duplicate modules are stacked together. Read about that just a little bit ago. Added missing rote bestiary event and corrected some bestiary data table entries that were not allocated the right sound. Added rote specific auto data table entry.
Audio data table entry.
Yeah, sorry.
So when we did the preview, well, it was Pygmy Lob did not enter any data in the bestiary, which it does now. Apparently, the road
Yeah.
had similar issue.
Yeah, possibly.
Anyway, some event was missing and the audio was incorrect as well.
Okay.
Which is now corrected. Good.
Good. Yeah. Took me a wee while of sitting on Prometheus to actually figure out what the Drac sounded like. That doesn't sound friendly, period.
Then again, it doesn't look friendly either.
No, but doesn't it just look like a face you want to shoot?
Nah, I'll just knife it between the eyes. Way more fun.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're the miner, so you would.
As a miner, I would hit it with a pickaxe. I do prefer the knife with the electroshock attachment.
Yeah, not quite so much now, so, huh.
Still. Anyway. Remove the DNT on rain exposure modifier. Okay, thanks. Fixed a few typos in st_umg string something. I don't know.
Styx something.
Universal message generation. I don't know. Something. Which had typos now no longer has them.
Okay, good. Adjusting gasfly ballistic travel sound to be appropriate for faster travel speed. So instead of getting you get I don't
know. We haven't encountered them that much yet, but we will.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, if the needlers are anything to go by.
We have seen the gasfly. Those if you shoot them down, they give this big red explosion on the ground. Remember?
Oh no, you said they were drifters.
No, don't think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see. We'll just have to visit the volcanic biome, and we'll have to shoot one down and see what happens.
Okay.
The other hand, flyers. No, this is dead winged. I don't know. I think those were the flyers. But
Okay.
check the bestiary.
Yeah.
Fix a bug where the swamp bird did not have an animation set for use with corpse eating action. Remove debug print from the BT task random flight. Okay. Is the swamp bird an omnivore? Apparently. Corpse eating.
Sounds like maybe a dreadwing or
I
you
think
know
these are the Ibu, what they called? Ubi? The big walking birds in the swamp. We've seen them
can't,
during the preview.
can't remember. It was a stride. No,
No. Not a strider.
no, can't remember.
Anyway.
Okay. I
Adding
didn't.
cooldown to the gasfly explosion to stop double up of sound occasionally playing. So it's explosion and it takes a bit before it plays explosion again.
That would be interesting.
So you shoot down 4 of them quickly after one another. You only hear one explosion? I don't think so.
Or it
I
sounds like a
want to
gunfight.
make it thunder.
Or it sounds like there's a gunfight going on.
Anyway, we'll see. So remember when we talked talked about the mining voxel audio causing machine gun like sound effects that wouldn't stop? I think it's related to this bullet point here. Fix possibility of infinite final hit on voxels when using multi-damage pickaxes. If a fully mined voxel resource tries to clean itself up on tick while remaining reinitializable, explicitly turn the tick off again, as the cleanup function is not guaranteed to do this, potentially resulting in the final hit event getting spammed each tick. Also add a check to the final hit events to only fire if the previous state was not fully mined. So you don't get the final hit sounds over and over and over and over and over again. Good.
Okay. Yep.
Adjusting the cold steel arrows to be on par with the steel arrows. So they buffed the cold steel arrows. Cold steel versus steel, I would have expected them to be at least on par indeed.
Yeah.
Noxious Crust now provides a resource when cleaned. I think it already did, but I don't know.
Well, it was supposed to. It's just I didn't think we'd cleaned any yet.
Not during the preview. We never built a cleaner. We didn't tech up that far. Anyway. Fixing workshop bolts sets, providing the wrong bolts when consumed. I want the electroshock bolts. Why am I getting the explosive ones? Yeah, glad they fixed that.
Yeah, me too.
Adjusting the obsidian sickle stat description to mention crops and not just fruit or veggies. Also, the fiber and all the new grass variants.
Yeah. Okay.
Clay brick building piece recipes have been adjusted to account for size. Yeah, I haven't used those yet, so I don't know what it was, so I can't compare it either. Ice borers no longer fall through the terrain when dropped.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. Hey, can you give me the ice borer, which we finally managed to build after grinding for resources for an hour and a half? Okay, I'll drop it on the ground for you. I didn't say it dropped through the ground. No, I'm glad to fix that.
We've had that with things falling through the terrain when you're dropping them, and the only thing that we could come up with to counteract that was ensure you're standing on solid rock.
Or I just put a campfire there and chucked in the campfire.
Yeah.
Easy enough. But it is annoying that it falls through the terrain. Especially in ice bore, of course, I don't think those are cheap.
Yeah.
Being a tier 4 stuff and all.
Yeah, well, I mean, still haven't quite fixed the fact that tree pieces like to fall through the terrain when you're chopping them up.
It's just a bit of wood. Gives the groundhog something to chew on as well, eh?
Yeah, but, you know, when resources are scarce, you know,
That's
that
why you have
one
the
piece of
seasoned
wood can
log.
be the difference between being able to make a door and not being able to make a door.
There is a talent for that. Seasoned log something. Which automatically picks up the wood for you.
Yeah. Didn't
A
use it
talent
first
I
time
don't
round.
have. A
Didn't use it
talent I'm
first
not
time
gonna
round. Don't
use.
think I'm ever going to use it now.
No. I know
Okie doke.
people who enjoy the talent a lot, and I'm like, yeah, I'd rather spend the talent point somewhere more useful for me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fixed a typo in game mode info pop up. Nice. We like that.
New Zealand spelling reduced.
Yes. Good. Added a bone blacklist so the kill cam doesn't target specific bones that protrude out of the AI mesh and makes the arrow float in mid-air.
Yeah, kill cam, and then the arrow stays like a foot and a half away from the animal.
Yeah, had that quite a few times. Yeah. Also had the forever arrow a lot.
Yeah, but I think that's a whole different problem.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's still interesting. It's good for clipping.
So I'm like, why add a bone blacklist? Why not just make sure the bone doesn't protrude from the AI mesh? But yeah, maybe that's too simple thinking from me.
Well, possibly. Enable custom weather for quests. Yeah, I would hope so. Yes.
More weather types specific for specific quests. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not?
Would kind of expect that, to be honest. You know. Prometheus Story 3 removed extra purple search area.
Yeah, we haven't done that mission yet, so I can't really comment on it.
Yeah, it took us 2 weeks to finish the first one.
Hey, not my fault. I said let's play on.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Then again, I sleep less than most people during the night. I sleep more during the day.
Yeah. So, hey ho, you know, swings and roundabouts, dude. Alrighty, the next one's definitely yours.
The spawned with the BP AI spawner now have their spawn locations offset upwards by half their capsule height to prevent them from spawning inside the ground. So when an animal spawns in, you don't want him to spawn in the ground, of course. Then it's like, only have half an animal, and then it gets basically falls through the terrain, and you have to spawn in a new animal, and blah blah. So rather spawn it a bit above ground and let it fall on the ground and break the legs. It's easier for you to kill because it can't run away no more.
Yeah.
Or basically, what says here, to prevent them from spawning inside the ground, so they spawn proper and they can move around.
Yeah. Okay.
NPC spline trail component now correctly removes the spline points as they are cleaned up. Good. Forgot
Okay.
to add the data structure change for the blacklist bones. This is a fix. A fix is to forget the data. Makes sense. Or not.
Well, you know, I mean, if they're gonna add the blacklist, then they kind of have to put the rest of it in with it, otherwise it's not going to work.
Exactly. Anyway, resaving AI setup DT to fix build validation error. Yeah, needed. Otherwise, if your build can't be validated, you can't create a new build, and you can't put a new build up.
Can't really do very much, can you? No,
Exactly.
wouldn't have said so.
Fix new game tutorial pop-up string not being picked up by localized content generation. Localized content generation says for translatable strings, I reckon.
Okay.
So again, nice for non-English playing. Fix duplicate spawn map color, preventing creatures from spawning in a small area of the grasslands. I
Quick,
haven't
tell us where it
noticed.
was. We would have put our base there.
Of course not. You have to travel further in order to find something to kill. Removed the cave SWSML 004 as was a duplicate version of the 03. Swapped all the 04 prefab caves to 03. Yeah, if it's duplicate anyway, then not much use to keep them both.
Yeah, you only need one set.
Exactly.
Okay.
Added tool action helpers to the beast meta item and all fertilizer items. Tool action helpers. Okay.
Okay.
The beast item, by the way, I believe is a Prometheus specific one as well.
Yes.
Okay. Rock dogs lava spots now apply correct modifier and spawn when hitting the landscape or anything with the landscape collision profile. Yeah, it walks on fire basically. The floor is lava where it walks.
Okay.
It's fun to see. Definitely.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And having a rock dog attack a red back also. Yeah, nice animations there.
Yeah.
I like it. Fix a bug where if you drag the shield out of the utility slot, the backpack stays invisible. I'm not sure we had that issue actually.
No.
Dragging out of the utility slot, no.
No.
Don't think I've seen this one.
No.
Well, it's just a visual fix, but still.
We like fixes.
And it does improve the game visuals, so yeah.
Yeah. Fix normals on all Shengong bows and axes. Good. Thank you. Remove debugging text in on focus item. Good. Rebalanced miasmic tools to use refined wood in addition to carbon fiber.
Kind of makes sense, you know, the handle.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Rebalanced cold steel tools to use variable amounts of refined wood per piece.
Yeah, like a knife uses less wood than a sledgehammer, for example.
Well, yes, that would make sense. Rebalanced obsidian tools to use refined wood across all pieces rather than just the sledgehammer. Removed fur from obsidian sledgehammer and replaced with leather. You needed a fur for a sledgehammer?
Oh, you didn't know? You never created one?
No.
Okay. Well, if you look at a mesh, it shows leather and not fur, so yeah, it makes sense. They replace it with leather.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Also, all tools to use refined wood, same as with miasmic tools. A knife for the handle, sickle for the handle, hammer for the handle. You need wood, so yeah.
Okay. Fixed various ammo recipes across the new tool sets, not using correct resources.
Oh, let me craft some cold steel bullets. That's interesting. I don't need cold steel, but I need obsidian.
Yeah. That would be a bit weird.
Exactly. So they fixed that.
Good. Fixed item setups for acidic glands, infected bark, noxious crust, crystallized miasma, and distilled miasmic coating, directing to incorrect drop mesh, adding representative placeholders. Okay.
Good.
So they swapped them out. That's good. Prometheus Story 3, fix wrong dialogue line being played when collecting when collecting recipe at end of mission. Well, yeah, we kind of need to know what we're supposed to do next, and if we're getting told the wrong stuff, then we're completely going to bollocks it up, aren't we?
Now, imagine you have killed at the end of the mission, or you've killed something, or you've completed the mission, you like pick up some kind of recipe, and Soul says, "Yeah, you have now killed the Scorpion boss. Good job." Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't really compute with what you just did.
Yeah, exactly. What Scorpion boss? The one
Exactly.
behind you.
So yeah, they added the correct line there. Good.
Well, I'm glad for that. Switched a number of lava cave voxels over to using the correct BPHV foliage type, conifer to volcanic. So it's visual
Yes.
effects.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like the conifer ones no more. It looks like the proper volcanic ones now.
Good, good, good. Replaced voxels in Cave Alien Fossil MED001 to Pro Volcanic Cave 2 Prometheus.
MED, medium, so Alien Fossil Cave, size medium. To the Prometheus Volcanic Cave number 2. No idea where this Alien Fossil Cave is. We have to... Well, it's a volcanic cave, so somewhere in one of the volcanic biomes. I wonder, do you need a mission to go there? Or is it like a generic cave? I don't know.
We'll soon find out, won't we? I would have expected that to be part of a mission, to be honest.
I don't know, some custom cave for mission. I don't know, maybe. Would be fun if it's like a generic cave or global cave, like it being there also in open world.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, disabled shadow casting on Slug Slime Trail. Okay. Fixed bug where client was incorrectly applying slug slime modifier as well as server, which was resulting in the modifier never disappearing from the list for clients.
I wonder whether or not the effect did disappear. But it's something we haven't run into. We have not.
Okay. Slime trail particles are now properly cleaned up when their owning segment is removed.
Good. They're no longer the infinite slime trails.
Good. Slime trail particles are no longer spawned for dedicated server.
Yeah, the server isn't running. It's just running the process anyway, so it isn't running a character, so it doesn't need those particles, I'd say.
Yeah, okay. More data table validation on FLOD descriptions. Good. We like more information.
Yep.
Added additional logic forcing grasslands crocodile to spawn only near water. Thank God for that.
whether or not it's also vertical. Because I've been running through the grasslands and encountering a crocodile in a location where I'm like, there's no water near. I am roughly above a cave, so maybe it's spawned near the water in the cave, but like 100-foot vertical.
It's possible, but unlikely.
I don't know. I wouldn't say unlikely as such.
Oh well. Okie dokie. And the next few, if you please.
So, intersecting the slime trail will now only cause a reaction if the overlapping actor is a valid AI target. We have not run through the slime trail, I think, so I'm not sure what kind of effect it would have, what kind of reaction it would have. I don't know about this one.
I think it was like poisonous or something. I think I accidentally run over it at some point.
would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Slightly increase melee distance of the sickle. Also make some brambles simple collision. So increase distance of sickle. That's going to be helpful, especially in the swamp biome.
Yeah. Yeah, because especially like when you're doing wheat and stuff, you've got to be like practically on top of it.
That as well, yeah. Sorry. Fix a couple of seams between clay vectors in the landscape. Good. Move some deep ore deposits and fix some stretched textures on a macroclave in the purple and the green quartz Prometheus. I wonder, does this also mean the gap in the world, the hole in the world in the I5 cave has been fixed?
Hmm. Okay.
And you know, where you can swim under the map and
Uh-huh.
then we'll get automatically unstuck just outside the tunnel.
Uh-huh.
We'll see. Added new cheat function and dedicated server command print AI debug to print useful debug information regarding currently active AI and relevant spawn blockers. I wonder, is this in an attempt to fix the fact that the creature deterrents do not affect flying animals? Because it's currently creature deterrents, at least last week, they do not deter flying creatures. Kia, Deathwings, those kind of things.
Hmm.
Ashen Drake, you know. So, like you build a creature deterrent inside your spike walls, and you still get attacked from the air.
Yeah. Not good. Definitely not good.
I don't know. I haven't seen an Ashen Drake yet, so I don't know how severe those attacks are. Kias are annoying, or not even annoying. Just make sure you don't have any food outside, so they're meh. The Deathwings, they can be a tad annoying, but they don't do too much damage. Ashen Drakes, however, I have no idea yet.
Hmm.
I want to see them. I want to kill them. Anyway. Prometheus Story 3 fixed base pieces being on low durability or even destroyed state on a reload. Yeah, that won't be nice.
No.
Because if I am not mistaken, Petsnose was talking earlier about you being able to use that base for one reason or the other, for one. Use it for something. But yeah,
Mhm.
if you upon reload of the prospect, if they all of a sudden are low durability or even destroyed, yeah, then you can't really use it no more, especially not when it's destroyed. So I'm glad they fixed that.
Yeah.
Prometheus exploration missions now have a proper description. Good. Fixing the iron window playing closing animation for opening and closing the windows. For opening and closing the windows. So you couldn't visually open them. Okay. Also added more surfaces to my test level.
Okay.
That means developers have their own test levels for stuff. Would be interesting to see how those levels look like. But yeah, Iron Window now probably playing the open animation when opening the window. Good.
Yep.
Match the hit behavior of the new elemental pickaxes, the Prometheus specific ones, to that of existing pickaxes. I reckon in regards to like yield and damage and stuff.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Submitting Bear Cup carcass meshes and textures. They were in game already, right? We have been killing bear cubs for a long time already.
Yeah.
Anyway. Fixed miasmic ammo set being named ironwood ammo instead of miasmic. Okay.
Oops.
Well, then glad I fixed that.
Yeah.
Clamping attack resistances to 99%. I reckon this might have to do with the whole stacking resistance, diminishing return stuff.
Yeah. Sounds
Like no
about
matter
right.
how much you stack resistances, you still will it will still cap out on 99%.
Yep.
Makes sense. Don't go for 100% resistance. It's not fun no more. I mean, it's fun to do it once or twice just to show it off, but not during playing. No.
No. No. Too much for cheese.
Yep. Fix new workshop crossbow bolts having incorrect collision. Was being talked above, I think. You know, the Larco Martinez bolts now have proper collision on players and animals.
Yeah.
Reordered workshop crossbow bolts, allowing the advanced bolt option to be unlocked in any order. So basically put them next to one another instead of behind one another, I reckon. Good. So you don't need to unlock, for example, the miasmic one if you want to go to the explosive one.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Tweaked placement of many workshop items for visual consistency between groups. Actually, we were talking about this yesterday when we were looking at the suits.
Yeah.
Was it? No, I saw it somewhere in the stream actually. So this person had unlocked a suit which is now behind another suit he had not unlocked yet. This was funny to see.
Mm.
Anyway. Visual consistency between groups, good. The next one, swapped the item name, description, icon and mesh of workshop pickaxes, axes, spears and arrows that did not match their color scheme to the damage type. So the new elemental stuff, pickaxes which do burn damage, pickaxes which do ice damage. The ice one was red and the fire one was blue.
Yeah, that would kind of give people the wrong impression, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I believe only the knives were correct and the rest was mainly wrong, so they fixed that. I'm glad. So at least it's proper. Red is fire and blue is ice.
Yeah, it's the way you would expect it to be now.
Exactly.
Good.
Fix an issue where buildings cannot be damaged by weapons due to a prior commit. So friendly fire on buildings has been enabled again. Okay.
Oh.
It should be enabled anyway, so. So once again, when developer updated his test level to include more buildable pieces for quick testing.
Okay.
So will we be getting those more buildable pieces as well? I'm always in for more buildable pieces, being the one who usually builds the base and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right, add in road head shake audio to animation.
Okay.
So shaking head has its own audio. Alright.
Okay.
Oh well. General polish pass across the drifter visual effects. Text will now be an appropriate color depending on the biome. This fixes visual effects for the swamp drifter.
Okay.
Swamp drifter. Swamp drifter had the wrong one before. Now they all have. All the drifter, different drifter types have the correct effects. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
Fix floating tree in the grasslands and fix a hole in swamp cave on a green and yellow quad Prometheus. So not the one in I5.
No.
Reset static mesh locations for geothermal pools and fix some cliff seams in the red quad and the purple quad in Prometheus. Alrighty. Drifter visual effects polish.
Okay.
Change IMP meshes and remove the seagrass on the land in the green and yellow quad of Prometheus. Yeah, seagrass one would expect in a war.
Yeah.
Macro cliff pass, landscape sculpting pass, lava lake placement, red quad and purple quad Prometheus.
Okay.
Right, good. Fix issues with the fish finder scanning forever. Yeah, I'd rather have it complete at some point and show me some actual results.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was what it was for.
Exactly. Removed all vehicle-related code and dependent assets to free up linked library items. We don't have vehicles yet anyway, so yeah, clean it up.
Yep.
Removed Icarus physics vehicle plugin to free up the linked library items as well. Again, vehicle-related code.
Which we're not getting in Prometheus. So it makes
Not
sense to
yet
get rid of
anyway.
the makes sense to get rid of the plugins and stuff.
Yep. Made the number of assets static. Okay. Made spawn point helper mesh components all editor only, so they will be deleted from cooked builds, or in other words, they are no longer in the production build.
Yeah.
Removed overlap checks from environment spline meshes, not something we all directly see either. Removed actor gathering from actor recorders that aren't using the gathered list. Again, I reckon related to the performance optimizations.
Mm-hmm.
Optionally removed transform reloads from recorders that don't need them. Basically the same.
And so is the one below it.
Added recorder fast path for actor path names and grids. Currently disabled. And now they have been added. Yeah, we just talked about above faster paths to the data, to certain voxel data.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. Time sliced shelter modification initialization, also followed by time sliced voxel initialization that was spoken about above. Multiple tweaks to voxels to get their start up time when a map tile streams in as low as possible to reduce hitching. This was also discussed above. Enabled async lazy nav mesh rebuilds to reduce hitches. So in other words, if they're not synchronized, then they're not meeting up right. And
Async means asynchronous.
okay,
Means
asynchronous.
basically own thread,
Not,
own speed.
yeah, not trying to do everything at the same time.
Not trying to keep two processes synchronous. Asynchronous means you can continue with part A whilst working on part B.
Okay. Disabled garbage collection during level streaming to minimize hitches, also spoken about above. Offline processed voxels to reduce the amount of operations they perform on startup. Again, discussed above. And disabled preloading of quests This should reduce RAM usage by about 1 gig in some cases. Well, that would make sense. You only really want to be loading in the quests when you're actually asking for them, no?
So if you preload them, data can be accessed faster because it's already loaded.
Yeah.
However, it does require memory storage, memory space to actually store the info.
Yeah.
So yeah, you reduce the overall memory usage. Again, especially helpful for people who don't have a high-end rig.
Yeah.
So you reduce memory usage at the expense of slightly longer loading time if you actually do load in the request steps, I reckon.
Yeah.
The next bullet point is basically related to this.
Yeah.
Added asynchronous loading of the quest during the mission. So you can start a mission and do step 1 whilst you're still loading in step 2, for example. To put it very, very basic, not entirely correct, but I don't want to make it too complicated.
No, well, simples.com is usually my way. Added proper PMs to mangrove roots and fallen trunks. Fixed hands for Shengong suit, third person. That would be good.
Yeah, they've been working on those new armor types for a bit already. Larkwell has been mentioned multiple times in the past few weeks. So now also the Shengong third person view, the hands weren't being displayed proper.
Yeah. Fixing snow wolf carcass and bones by creating a snow wolf carcass mat and overriding the relevant functions in the corpse BP to match the other carcass flow.
I wonder which one it had before then. Possibly the conifer carcass.
Possibly. That would make sense though, right?
Yeah, it's like the closest one to the snow wolf. So, yeah.
Yeah. Fixed missing materials for brick beams. Can't make them if you don't have the materials.
Or is this visually missing, like the mesh missing?
That's possible, yeah.
Or also possible, missing materials as in you have them, you can place them, but you cannot upgrade to or from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of course, it's missing some kind of material type. I don't know. I haven't done brick beams. So.
Alrighty. Re-enabled GC after main map tiles stream out. Not having this on was causing some bugs due to old actors being reused if the tile was streamed back in before they could be properly deleted. This will cause some hitches, but has been changed from original behaviour to only occur after main map tiles stream out, not just any map tiles streaming out. So it should still be significantly better. Well, we like that.
GC setting for global cache? I don't know. Yeah, due to old access being reused. If it's the same name and you're like, okay, remove the old, here's a new one. You start using it already before the old information is cleaned up.
Yeah.
I can see how that would cause some lag spikes.
Yeah.
You have to wait for the old data to be cleaned up before you can use it again.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Basically performance related.
Yeah. Re-enabled fast actor path name lookups for voxel reloading. This reduces the time for voxels to find and load their data when they stream in. This behavior is now only disabled for FLOD based voxels, i.e. stone.
Yeah, this was mentioned in the main body in the performance fixes. We talked about it at that point already.
Mhm. Cool.
Faster way to access the data.
Good, good, good. Removed context menu from loadout screen in OEI as it could have been used to drop items on the ground directly from the inventory instead of putting them in a dropship for request. This would cause them to not be checked out in a loadout.
Basically, a way to duplicate your items. So you go to the OA, you say, okay, I want to request new stuff, and I right click it and I say drop item. It drops on the ground in front of me, does
And
not get checked out from from your workshop inventory. It does not come down in a dropship, so you have it directly. It says you 15-second wait for the dropship to drop in. But it also meant you had duplicate. You still had one in the workshop inventory.
yeah, okay.
So an exploit being removed. Good.
Yeah, well, I mean, we like them if they're useful, but we don't, we like them to be fixed because it's just too much of a
Well,
cheese.
there is a difference between a cheese and an exploit. This was an exploit.
Yeah, well, yes, yes. Okay, fixed being able to start Prometheus missions open worlds using the UI on dedicated server if the launching player doesn't own the new Frontiers DLC.
Yeah. So if you had a dedicated server, and with your on your dedicated server with the Atomic ones, you could start a new Frontiers mission, even when you did not have the DLC.
Oh,
Again, this was an exploit which now has been fixed. Now the owning player, so to say, has to own the DLC in order to start the mission.
yeah, well, that would make sense.
Yep,
Yeah,
definitely.
okay. Next up, we have fixed Prometheus not appearing on all the mission open world screens if the DLC isn't owned.
So
Should
if you
show
don't
up
own
as
the DLC,
locked.
it did not even show Prometheus. Prometheus missions and stuff, open
Okay.
worlds. Now it does show, but it says, hey, it's locked, you need to buy it first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meaning people who don't own it at least see it and they know what they're missing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okie dokie. Fixed redback being unable to be crit and not having an armored shell.
Being able to be crit, that's bad. If you can't crit it, they're hard enough already. Yeah,
You
well,
can't.
hard is
I
relative,
I don't.
obviously, but
I think I've only ever crit a blueback by accident.
if you hit it with a knife in the face, you can crit it easily.
Yeah, I tend not to want to get that freaking close, dude.
Meh, they don't do that much damage, bluebacks.
Right.
So slightly increased the head crit area on blueback and redback, so it's easier to crit them with bow and arrow as well now.
Good.
The Prometheus Shadow Geo fixed the mission D4 Arctic to the correct shadows. Good. Fixed walls not being able to be upgraded to scoria brick. This has been mentioned before already.
Yep.
The wall pieces you could not upgrade to scoria brick. You could do the door pieces, the window pieces, but not the wall pieces. I'm glad they fixed that.
Yeah. Especially you being the builder.
Yep. It was annoying having to tear down the wall and put a new wall in.
Yeah. Okay.
Removing streaming settings from some SFX and adjusting preferences to auto streaming setting. Okay, good.
Okay.
Fixed ice border not attaching to supercooled ice nodes, so not snapping. This was mentioned above as well.
Yep, spoke about earlier on.
Yeah. Fix square brick wall angle right inverted from being unable to be upgraded to using the hammer. Yeah, I haven't tried any of the inverted wall, inverted angle ones.
No.
I'm glad I fixed that one as well.
Yeah.
Added additional validation to building piece lookup table. I reckon this is to avoid these instances occurring again, like being unable to upgrade.
Yeah.
Remove spawn override from outpost prospects. Earlier in this patch notes has been mentioned the correct spawning in outpost now.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we don't want the spawning to be over much.
Yeah, but it also needs to spawn all animals necessary.
Yeah.
Updated the Everbark outpost difficulty to use the forest outpost difficulty settings. Not sure what it was using before, but apparently an incorrect difficulty setting.
Arctic, maybe?
I don't know. It's a difficulty setting. So I
Mhm.
would say amount of animal spawning. It's an outpost, so little to none predators.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense.
The kind of things.
Okay.
Weather severity.
Okay.
Pre-built structures now save and load their spawned actor references so they can be referenced and interacted with after first spawn. Good. Otherwise, upon reload, it's almost broken down. You can't repair it no more. That ain't good.
Yeah, no, that would not be good at all.
Exactly. Fixing repair hammer not making sounds on fortifications. I think I ran into this in my open world, yeah. Also adding cooldown to mission update UI sound. He already has, yeah, the mission update sounds okay. Right.
Okay.
Change the cold steel frozen ore reward behavior from a roll change to a percentage of the rewards paid.
Roll chance.
Chance, yeah, not change. Something different. Okay, so say specific percentage of the ore mines will now be cold. Will be frozen ore now if you mine it with a cold steel pickaxe
Okay.
instead of some RNG. Okay. So basically, you are now guaranteed frozen ore, and with RNG, you could mine an entire voxel without getting any frozen ore.
Yeah.
Remove the resupply quest starter dialogue, which caused incorrect dialogue replay on Prometheus Story 3 quest reload. So this is not the last line, but it's another line in Prometheus Story 3. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Improved bedrock physics asset. Which physics asset? Bigger chance of doing the hemorrhaging damage now. That's the disadvantage of killing the bed dogs with a knife. Improved chance of getting the hemorrhage wounds.
Yeah.
Anyway. Adjusted the drop location of the bedrock corpse when placed on a skinning bench. Never put one on, so I have no idea what it was.
We don't use the skin and bench, really, do we?
No, we don't. We get enough resources already anyway, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Added a new ice slot item interface that can be implemented to adjust the actor spawn location when placed in a slot. Okay. I'm not sure what they mean, but still, thanks for the info.
Okay, yeah.
Added an extra ragdoll blocking collider to the skinning bench to prevent corpses falling off on the right side. Again, we don't use a skinning bench, so I've not seen this behavior. But yeah, as long as you, I'd say, as long as you can still skin the animal, even though it has been fallen off the bench. But yeah, for visual's sake, let's make sure it stays on the bench.
Yeah, it would make much more sense.
Yep. Adding footsteps for the mounts on lava and slime. Again, we don't use mounts that much, so I have not noticed they were missing.
Well,
Apparently other people did.
we did notice last time we were on the mounts that there weren't any sound for their footfalls in a cave.
Specific caves.
Yeah.
Some caves you still have the footstep audio, some caves you don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Fix animals not spawning at all on the 3 new outpost maps. That's gonna be tough to obtain leather and fur and bones and stuff.
Yeah, and food. You know, I mean,
You can always refer to rabbit food,
yeah,
aka veggies.
yeah. I think you would be a very sick man if you had to eat veggies,
I would indeed.
unless, of course, they come under, on top of tomato sauce, on a flatbread.
Yeah, I still would need bacon on it though.
Hmm. Like I said,
I
you're a sick man.
love my bacon.
You're a sick man.
Thank you.
All right. Predator birds are no longer target active player creatures' mounts within active spawn blocker deterrent radius. Good.
Alive players. So even when you were standing still, you're not active but still alive.
Yeah.
So they no longer target you. They still fly over, I think. Doesn't say anything about that. But at least they're not attacking no more, which is good. So you can keep your mounts outside without them being attacked by predator birds.
Yeah. Does that mean that if you're dead, you're going to be attacked?
Possibly. Then you're a
That-
corpse.
yeah, you are. That's interesting. Hmm. Okay. Slightly lowered armor paper dolls so it does not overlap build number. Okay. Thank you. Fixed visibility bugs with shield and the backpack being invisible or both visible at the same time.
Yeah, I've seen that. Hey, I have a shield on my back. It's showing both shield and backpack.
Yeah,
Also, I think related to a bullet point above where it says if you fix bar, if you remove the shield from the utility slot, your backpack stayed invisible. I
yeah,
reckon it's related to this one because
yeah,
there's also such a visibility bug.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Mission.
Missions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pre-built structures are now destroyed when you abandon the quest.
Well, let's assume it's not destroyed because that
It's
will mean they
destroyed.
stay. Exactly. Let's assume it's New Zealand spelling. Destroyed when you abandon quest. Basically, if you started from your open world and you abandon the quest again, the structures stayed. You restart the quest, and it spawns a second building on top of the old one.
Okay.
And by doing so, you could duplicate the items no longer, which is good.
Okay, so that means that if you abandon the quest, you don't get the pre-built structures at all ever again.
They are being removed, and if you start a quest again, but then again,
Oh, they just reload properly then.
so so here's the thing: you're supposedly only able to start a mission once per open world.
Yeah.
However, there was a bug, where you could abandon the mission and restart it again. I don't know, maybe it only becomes unavailable once you've finished it. That's possible.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah. Basically, if you abandon the quest and restart it again from your open world, it duplicated the buildings. Now
Okay.
it properly cleans them up when you abandon the quest, which is good.
Okay. Okay. That makes
Interesting
sense.
thing is, it's not saying anything about Mission 1, which also have pre-built structures. Maybe Mission 1 did not have this issue, I don't know. I have, however, seen messages pointing towards, like, you could do the same with Mission 1.
Okay. Alrighty.
Right.
Ensure unstuck respects out of bounds checks and Prometheus. That was discussed above.
Yeah.
Fix abandoning a quest causing multiple quest dialogues to play. Dialogue tripper I can't talk now.
Dialogue trigger suppression is now applied during quest cleanup in all scenarios. Previously, it was only scoped to the end of mission cleanup.
Okay.
Now it's completely cleaned up in all scenarios. Like if you halfway through abandon the quest, it's still gonna clean up all the dialogue triggers.
Okay. Arctic outposts added the deer to allows easy difficulty, more sources of fur. We like that actually. Sources of fur in the Arctic can be very few and far between.
Interesting thing is, these are deer which are normally not in the Arctic.
No,
Now
no,
they
you would
reduce
use.
the amount of fur from predators and increase the amount of fur to the passive creatures. So yeah, you could go around your Arctic outpost hunting for all the snow rabbits to get enough fur.
Yeah,
If there are even wolves, they would have less fur, so it would have been hard to get by enough fur. So let's just add deer to the Arctic outpost. At least you have a proper source of fur.
that makes more sense.
Oh.
Desert outposts added scorpions, added spawn difficulty rules.
Now, scorpions are could be seen as predators though. So this desert outpost, which by the way is a Prometheus outpost, or at least one of the new set, uh, does have some predatorial spawning,
Okay,
which is good. Makes it not too easy.
okay. On Prometheus, increased likelihood of ashen drake spawns in their areas.
Good,
Nice.
good.
Fixed stone voxels not reloading their mind state correctly. So if it was half mined, it would go back to being full.
Possibly like in Outpost where it was back to full to unmined every time you reload.
Yeah. Okay. Weather effects are now correctly attached to camera when sitting on mounts or other seats. Fixed screen damage post process effect overriding weather effect particle visibility when pulsed.
Okay, so now if you're on your mount, you still see the correct weather effects, so the storm, hail, rain, etc.
Yeah. Okay, the T4 anvil bench adjusted position of output proxies in blueprint to line up correctly with the rack.
Output proxies? Not sure.
Hmm,
I don't know.
don't know.
Some underhood changes.
Okay. Re-import of swamp bird base mesh to fix bind pose with open mouth. Hmm, okay.
Okay, fine.
Changed frozen ore processor recipe to output unknown ore rather than metal ore, so it shows the ore is random.
Yeah, you might be able to output silica, sulfur, oxide, which is not metal.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus, unknown ore definitely states it's random. Where
Yeah.
metal ore is like less random.
Yep. Yep. Fixed bug where wind, rain, other weather effects were appearing in caves. We've discussed that above.
Yep.
Fixed broken deployable debris not cleaning up properly. We've
So
had
last
that.
week, Thursday, where Carl destroyed the chest with an axe.
Hmm.
Actually, upon reload yesterday, the debris was gone.
Good. Good.
But now it actually clears up properly during the session.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yep. Updated the credits. Good.
Credit screen, yeah.
Created DMs for bramble bushes in prep for fixing this bug where bramble bushes DMs are incorrect model.
Brabble or
Uh,
Brable? It's 1B, huh?
yeah,
So I'd say it's Brable Bush, not Brabble Bush.
mm, yeah, I'd say if you spell it right, it would maybe go look for the right model, but that's just
Yeah.
me.
Well,
I
they did add the proper Bramble DMs to the Bramble BPs. So,
Well,
yeah,
that's a good place to start. That's a good place to start.
exactly.
Fixed quest dialogue replaying when resuming a prospect. Quest start dialogue entries defined in Quest DT are now not played if the quest was reloaded.
Okay, so upon resume of the quest, you don't get like the initial dialogue again.
Okay, well that makes
Uh,
sense.
yeah, I don't know. On the other hand, if you do one prospect in multiple streams, at least if you get on the start of each session, you get basically a recap of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
Could be nice as well.
sometimes the reminder can be really good.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
no more.
alrighty. Fixed issue where voxels receiving a resource type when loading in could fail.
Yeah, I reckon this is with the grey voxels mentioned
Yeah.
at the start
Okay.
of the fix.
Yeah. Fixed frozen ore granting aluminium ingot instead of aluminium ore. Although
Yeah.
we'd quite happily fix the miss the smelting stage altogether.
Well, okay. Aluminum is smelting one for one ore for one ingot. So you only skip the smelting step, meaning you don't need the concrete furnace or higher. But still, it's a frozen ore, not a frozen ingot. So the frozen ore smelting or thornite should grant ore and not an ingot. So yeah, I'm glad we fixed that.
Yeah. Prometheus Story 5 updated tech level required to correctly mention Tier 4.
So you're probably gonna need power
Yeah, more than
or
likely.
powered benches.
Yeah. Adjusting bounds mark for Prometheus to fix out of bounds zones, which is to do with the respawning.
Not necessarily, but can be part of that fix, yeah.
Yeah. Fix the IRD showing an unsheltered warning when placed in a prospect. You would never be able to accept a mission from it anyway.
Uh, the something relay device. So if you place in a prospect, it would give you an unsheltered warning, which has been fixed. However, you would never be able to accept a mission from the ID anyway, so yeah,
Yeah, okay.
not much use to place it anymore.
Mm. Okay, improve the effectiveness of elemental weapon effects on most creatures, notably Prometheus creatures.
There are going to be some numbers about that further down.
Okay. Arctic creatures typically take double damage from poison, half damage from frost. Swamp creatures typically take double damage from fire and half damage from poison. Likewise,
Lava creatures typically double damage from frost, half from fire, and desert creatures take double damage from frost and do not have any resistance to other elementals.
okay.
Makes sense, you know. Arctic, half damage from frost. Hey, they're used to cold. Swamp creatures, half damage from poison. Most of them are poisonous. Lava
Yeah,
creatures take half damage from fire. They live in a fire environment, so yeah.
yeah. So, in other words, now you're playing, now you have to take the creature's weakness way more seriously.
Yeah. I would have expected though Arctic creatures take double damage from fire,
Yeah,
not from poison. And like lava creatures take double damage from frost, as do desert creatures. Those are both hot environments, so they take double damage from frost. So I would have expected Arctic creatures living in a cold environment
to take
taking
double
double
damage
damage
from
from
fire.
frost, so from a fire instead of poison.
Yeah,
Then, however, which types would then take double damage from poison? Only thing remains is grassy plains.
yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Some creatures have additional resistances or slightly different resistances from the rest of their biome counterparts. That explains it.
So the above mentioned double and half damages in general, but some creatures do have additional resistances.
Yes.
So most of the Arctic creatures take only half damage from frost, but for example full damage from fire. Some creatures in Arctic might actually have like more take more damage from fire.
Yeah.
In general, all Arctic creatures take half damage from frost, but there might be animals in the Arctic which do take more than half damage from frost.
Yeah. Again, it depends on the creature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remove the ability for the electroshock modifier to stack. No. Okay.
How would you stack this? The only like you can put an attachment on an item, electroshock. I do it usually on knives. What should it stack with? Should be a module then. Is there a module for electroshock damage on general?
Mm,
Wouldn't make sense though.
mm,
So I have a stone arrow which does electroshock damage because I'm carrying a module. How's that gonna work?
yeah, that's a bit weird.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. Oh yeah, or maybe electroshock arrows and some kind of electroshock attachment, if there is such one, for a bow
Yeah.
or gun.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Anyway, they don't stack no more, so there's
Dang
no
it.
longer a hypothetical problem.
Okay. Adjusting tree sap and epoxy item icons so they are visually distinct. I did notice that actually that they look very different now.
Uh, only after the patch. They
Yeah,
were different already, but they were quite similar indeed.
yeah. Now they are very, very distinctly different. But I would have said that the tree sap and epoxy icons were distinctly different now.
Good.
Okay.
It makes it more clear for people which type of resource they have in their inventory, being its epoxy, being its tree sap.
Yeah. Okay. Being wet now increases electric and frost damage taken by 50%. Yes.
Well, kind of makes sense, you know. If you actually the frost damage taken, you already had the cooldown modifier if you were wet.
Yeah.
So you're getting the frosty debuff more quickly already. But now you're also going to take more damage from it. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Electric damage. Okay, I'll try to not hit you too many times with my electroshock knife.
Thanks. Increase the frequency that swamp water checks to infest you with parasites.
It's swamp water.
Oh,
It's stagnant water, so yeah, of course there should be a higher chance of getting infected with parasites.
yeah, this is true. This is true. Reverted previous change due to metal ore not being able to be randomized. Added an itemable row handle to the processor recipes for when there are random outputs to use as an image.
This has to do with the couple of bullet points above the what's it called, the frozen ore thingy now saying unknown ore in rather than metal ore.
Yes, yes, that makes sense. Okay. Fixed hail weather events incorrectly not filling water reservoir or watering crops.
Watering crops, it would make more sense. It's destroying crops. It's hail after all, but
Yeah, but if it can be caught by the water reservoir, then it should be watering the crops because it
no,
melts.
it's called by the water reservoir in frozen form, and then it
Yeah,
melts into
and
water.
melts. Yes.
Yeah, but the water reservoir is made from stone. Stone is like, yeah, it's just a bit of hail. I don't care. Plants, however, get destroyed by hail.
Hmm. Don't give them any bloody ideas, you.
Uh,
Switched mobility of cave weather blocking volumes from static to stationary to ensure they render correctly onto RT shelter.
Cave weather blocking form. Okay, yeah. The sheltering of the benches in a cave, they should still be sheltered even though they change around the weather effects inside caves.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Pieces of destroyed deployables and buildings now fade out instead of popping when an actor is destroyed.
Yeah, so again, think about last week, Thursday stream where Carl X'd that crate.
And it didn't go away.
No, it was all the basically like the thing kind of exploded and all the pieces were lying around, but the chest was initially.
Yeah. Okay.
Now you
Uh,
will still see pieces, but they will fade out, like they will degrade and disappear.
Good. 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 Updated
Uh,
the building upgrade radial menu to show the new Frontiers icon on applicable building tiers. That makes
yeah,
sense.
scoria brick, clay
Brick.
brick,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now it has this little new frontiers icon on the top left.
Okay. Joining a Styx Prometheus prospect will now show the difficulty warning pop-up and level boost option, which was previously only shown when creating the prospect.
Yeah, so last week Thursday you had to show this by going through the steps of creating a mission.
Hmm.
Because it didn't show when joining a mission. It will now show on joining as well.
Okay. Alrighty. And the last few, if you will, please.
So in Prometheus, the lava boss now takes plus 200% damage from frost, double, and minus 40% damage from fire, slightly more, less than half a damage reduction.
Hmm.
Uh, Kinda in line, or even more in line with the more than in line with the other lava biome animals. Makes sense, you know. It's a lava boss, so it's very dependent on lava. Also, the whole jump into a lava pool to regen health. It definitely
Yeah.
should take less damage from fire arrows, but more damage from frost. So yeah,
Okay.
if we are going for a lava hunter, we definitely need to get us some cold steel ammo, frost damage.
For sure. Yeah.
Adding new higher resolution image for the random ore image being used in the frozen ore processor thingy.
Yeah.
Change processor recipes to take in item data to use as an image rather than the outputted item for when we want random outputs. Again, frozen ore processor.
Yeah.
And frozen ore, when placed in heat source, now shows unknown ore instead of metal ore.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. To show that it's random.
Yeah. You have no idea what's going to come out.
Yeah, until you empty it.
Yeah, let's chuck it in a fire. I'm glad, by the way, gunpowder is not an ore.
You chuck it in the fire. Bang! There goes the space.
Yeah, exactly. It would be fun though.
Yeah, Carl strikes
It
again.
will add a element of risk. Basically playing Russian roulette. But yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a game of Russian roulette I wouldn't want to play.
I just thought out in a campfire a while away from base. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. And that, I believe, brings us to the end of this week's update. It does indeed.
Yep.
So watch your eyes, peeps. I'm going to scroll right back up to the top. Oh, there we go. I'll just go up a little bit here. There we go. Okay. So we will be back next week.
Well, actually, we will be back in a bit.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll be back in a wee bit for the subsequent gameplay. Thanks very much. Sorry, brain is now switching off. So I'd like to say thanks very much to everybody who watched, anybody who lurked, and all who participated in the chat. At this point, namely Michael and Jake and Lalev and Ri-Fi, whom we haven't seen for a wee while. He popped back in tonight. Good to have everybody in. Thanks very much for joining. It's been a pleasure. Thanks also to Cornet for keeping on top of the Discord server.
Of course.
And making sure that the peeps are updated. So we will be back at, say, hour. That'll give me enough time for a bio break and a juice break and any other kind of break I can think of that I need to have whilst we're out.
Sure.
Right, yes.
Past 17 minutes.
Yes, yes. So we will be back at hour for the subsequent gameplay, where Cornet will be quite desperate to get these wind turbines up.
Oh yeah.
And see just how much power they don't give him.
1750 power, slightly less than the windmill at 2k, way less than the solar panel at 5k, but hey, at least it's continuous power. So
yes, and it doesn't require maintenance.
Exactly, very important.
Yeah, very important. Alrighty, so we'll see you shortly at the hour. Until then, it's good night from me.
And good night from her.
And we will see you in a little bit. And remember, peeps, it really is a dangerous world out there, so please take care of yourselves and each other. Good night.